USA versus Japan on Tuesday. Here is our preview and predictions. Hashtag burgers versus sushi. This one, gentlemen, a conflict, in fact, that goes back at least 80 so odd years, 84 odd years. Yeah, we're going to give you guys our preview and predictions and whatnot. Make sure to leave in the comments down below your score predictions and anything else you think is going to happen in this match. But gentlemen, let us begin. Okay, I mean, I'm going to start off with how you usually start these off. Who needs this? A good result, a good performance. I'm not going to say win. Who needs a good result and good performance more between the two teams?
Oh, the United States easily. That was against South Korea. That was shambolically bad. I mean, it was tough to watch. I mean, look, I'm a full-time United States hater, but that was tough to watch just for entertainment in terms of hating. I hated them so much, but like I couldn't at the same time because I felt a little sorry for him. You know what I mean? When they couldn't string a few passes together, it was quite
crazy.
brutal. It's quite
you know how
brutal
bad it's got to be for Andres to say that he feels bad for the USA. That's insane. I mean, okay, well, let me acknowledge Japan here. I think Japan do kind of need a win here, right? For the same reasons they need a win against Mexico. We need to see Japan perform at the highest levels before this World Cup against other teams than AFC teams, right? That's obvious. That is the most common criticism we've been getting in comment sections, actually, is that, Japan are playing a lesser opponent, debate that how you will, in Asia compared to North America. So they need to get something flowing against international opponents here. That is the main reason, especially against CONCACAF. They don't have the best record against CONCACAF teams. To do so against the USA here would be absolutely fantastic for them. They're already 1-0 down 0-1 in major conflicts going back to 1945. Other matches as well. They need to win
3 if you really want to deep it. But.
Well, so international relations wise, we need to see a win here. But obviously, the U.S. needs anything more than 2 goals, maybe. Good performance for someone who doesn't have a good performance. I don't know, Joaquin. USA really important for you?
Yeah, I think the hamburgers have to win here. They need it more. I don't know. Yeah, like Japan also need to prove that they are more dominant against, like you said, like teams from CONCACAF, and just show that they're ready for the World Cup.
Yeah, Diego, do you have an opinion?
I think it would be really important for USA to win here, but I feel like Japan. I agree that US is more important for them to win. I think Japan will be like you said, they want to prove themselves. And the thing is that we've seen them perform well, even in like the bigger stages, but they need to do it obviously consistently if they want to be considered, some of the world's best, and keep that going into the next World Cup. And I think being the U.S. would be a nice confidence booster. I'm sure they would have liked to get out and win against Mexico, but it didn't happen. Beating a U.S. team, on all fairness, they should be. I feel like you could say that Japan should probably win this. Like, they're a stronger team. I trust them in their foundation more as of right now. I think they can come up against the U.S., take advantage of the U.S.'s weakness, and kind of, they're scattered. They're just scattered about right now, and the Japan can pick them off. Not to sound like it's war, because I don't want to make that. But I think Japan could really make advantage of this. I think it'd be really disappointing if they didn't win. I think the U.S. they'll a draw here with the U.S. would be fine. I think they'd be happy to be like, okay, that was a good draw, good defense, whatever. Because I think Japan are stronger. Honestly, I'd be a little worried if Japan didn't get a good result here.
I think also, I think Japan had a pretty good showing against Mexico. I think they had some pretty good chances that are kind of being not highlighted enough. I think they had some pretty clear goal scoring opportunities. And, it's kind of like goal line clearances, the last second or last ditch efforts, especially at the end where Montes got sent off. He literally just tackled the bro, like straight red. Like it's a friendly. I respect it. But they probably could have easily, scored at the last dying embers of the game. But I think they went toe to toe with Mexico, and that's kind of what we expected. I think we were expecting probably Mexico to kind of like buckle a little bit under the pressure. Japan in moments they did, especially when Edson came off. Enough about Mexico, but I think Japan definitely showed that they are a high quality opponent. I think it's just going to have to be, they got to be a little bit more clinical here. And I think against the United States, they're going to have a lot more opportunities than they did against Mexico, because United States, I think they're going to have to try and push this, if I'm being honest, because I feel like if they don't win this game, the United States, then it's kind of, they're just falling into an even bigger void than they already are. And it's going to be hard to climb out of time for the World Cup. So I think it's going to be pretty open for them, I think, compared to the past game they just played.
I think even like South Korea and Japan comparatively, like you would argue that Japan overall has the better lineup. So if you lose 2-0 to South Korea, it's not looking good going into the Japan match. But yeah, I think they need to prove themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I don't want to say unfortunate for the USMNT because they've dug themselves in this hole, but even like a win here doesn't set the ship straight, like anywhere close to that. You know, like a win here would almost be like, well, about damn time. It's one of those things where I think a USA win here should mean more than that. I think Japan is a class opponent. Japan is 17 in the world, and the USA need wins like this, especially because Poch cannot win against top 25 opponents. The USA has now lost like 5 straight games to top 25 teams by a combined 11-1. The aggregate score of 11-1 over the course of that time. They're winless in 7 straight such games, getting outscored 17-3. And excluding Mexico, the last US win versus a FIFA top 25 team was Iran in the 2022 World Cup. So it's almost been 4 years. It's been about 3 years since that last happened, right? And you absolutely need something like this for the USA, and especially for Poch too, man. Poch has been so disappointing and has really, it's really hard to say that he has many fans left, at least when I'm looking on social media and whatnot, or the ones that want to voice their opinion. It's really all of U.S. men's national team Twitter fully against Pochettino, except for Carly Lloyd. But you have really...
No, she's on no one's side. She's on her own side.
I know she's on the rage baiting side, yeah. But you have, you have legends like, Clint Dempsey came out and said that he doesn't have any words. Landon Donovan was going crazy over it. Alexi Lalas was even going crazy over it. And you know how hard it is to get Alexi Lalas against the U.S. men's national team? Yeah, on Twitter. He was stunned and whatnot. You have almost the entire community of the U.S. men's national team against you. You need to get a result quick. And I think if there's any team they can do it against, I think it would have to be an AFC team in Japan. And obviously I thought South Korea would have been a shout, but not. But especially moving forward, you're playing the likes of, top Golden Bowl teams, already World Cup qualified Golden Bowl teams. You're playing against some European teams. You have a lot of good opponents coming up, and you got to start building momentum for that. This is where you would do it. Let's talk real quick about the changes we'd like to see from either side. So I'm gonna start with Japan's side a little bit. I don't like the back three. I don't think Japan's back three is the way to go moving forward. I think Japan would excel way more at the back five. You drop the wingers back a little bit into the wing back position. That would look a lot better, and I do hope we see a change like that. Also, I think it would help defensively. Japan's defense is not as good as it normally is because of injuries right now. So I would like to see that kind of change. But for the U.S. men's national team side, my first question to you guys, does Balogun get the start? Does Sargent get any more chances with his team, especially against Japan?
Yeah, I think you start. Sargent has never really proven himself as the U.S. number 9. And I'm not denying he's been in great goal scoring form for Norwich. I'm seeing every week when it's not international break, him scoring goals. But when it is international break, he's just not showing up. And, unfortunately, that happens to some players. They just don't show up for the national team for whatever reason. You could argue he's not getting the same kind of service, and that's fine. But even if he isn't, that means you need someone who can work with what they got. And if Balogun is working at least better than Sargent, you got to take that because he was basically non-existent. I saw a stat sheet. I forget the tweet, but it was bad. It was like he couldn't do anything. And so I think you got to start Balogun. I would love to see a different back line. I feel like, Blackman and Ream in the big. I just in the Big 2025, like I think I want to see Chris Richards. I really like Chris Richards. I don't mind, like some of the other picks, whatever. I think Andres has a opinion about Berhalter, but I think
you shouldn't be in the squad, bro. It makes zero sense. You're telling me. I'm sorry, but like favoritism. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. You see him play, and he's a body. He's not as bad as Charlie. Obviously, no one is, but he's just there. He's there. At least he does something, but he just doesn't do anything. Add anything really.
Yeah. I'm fully on board with the Berhalter not being there. I mean, what doesn't make sense to me is obviously there's so many other players you can call up over Berhalter, not just this window, but in every single window that have just been missed. And for some reason, he's consistently there. And also, why are you starting him alongside Tyler Adams? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Neither midfielder are able to move the ball forward. They are both back passing players, and especially Berhalter. There was many times in that South Korea game where he got the ball and didn't know what to do with it and just recycled the ball back for no reason. Those decisions would not have to be made if you made better call-ups, right? So like why are you starting those two, which you would never have had to?
Can I add, why is Christian Roldan back in the squad? I saw that and I was like, what year are we in? Why is he there? I would like to add on top of Elijah's point, I think Tyler Adams, he's right now playing as the lone pivot at Bournemouth, and he's killing it. He can play by himself. You don't have to play him with someone. He's that good when he's not injured. He's that good. He's showing it at Bournemouth. destroyed Spurs when we played. I saw that match. Trust me, it was not pretty. He was great. So
See, the thing
play
is
another.
Oh, sorry.
on.
I was going to say, the
No,
thing
no.
is at Bournemouth, he has actually good other midfielders that helps him out, so he can be that lone pivot. But here, it's like this midfield gets overrun easily, so he needs that extra help probably, just so he doesn't get exposed.
I mean,
That's
I think
true.
USA has better midfielders that could be starting overall.
They
I
do.
would hope.
They do, which is what kills me. Because I mean, even going back to the Rodon statement, right? He's been killing it in MLS this season. I know that for a fact, and you can't deny that. But Rodon has had his time with the U.S. men's national team. Pochettino consistently says that we're using these camps to look at players so we can get to know them going into the World Cup, right? We know Rodon. Everybody knows Rodon. Everybody in the USSF knows Rodon. I'm not trying to talk shit about his time as a USMNT player, but he had his time. Let's move on to other players to look at that are obviously the future. Why are you having players in here that you know don't really have an impactful future with the team, which is Berhalter, which is a lot of these players. I mean, Tristan Blackman, right? A lot of these players don't deserve to be here. Why not get others? And then this leads to the whole having to start Adams. Berhalter, there you go, Berhalter. If you had a better call up, if you had better you know, players with you, which we do, you wouldn't have to have such a dysfunctional midfield alongside each other. So that kills me a lot. There's a lot of changes that need to be made. Joaquin, what are some changes you would make here in particular?
I'm gonna have to agree with what Diego said earlier. I think Chris Richards definitely deserves to be starting. Also, like midfield wise, like I think Berhalter, like we've all been saying, he's got to go. But otherwise, like obviously Pulisic, he's gonna stay there, and Balogun probably has to start over Sargent as well.
Yeah.
But
Does Diego
yeah.
Luna continue to start for this team at all?
I think he offers something that they don't have right now, which is a good like option to have even off the bench. But I mean, for now, like that's not even the worst problem that they have right now. So I think they should look elsewhere.
That's fair. I mean, I don't mind Luna getting the start here. You know who I actually really liked? I do want to see maybe get a start at game time was Zendejas. I thought when Zendejas came on, he brought a lot to the team, at least in that last like 15, 20 minutes. I wouldn't mind seeing him start here over Luna just because Luna's been solid, but Luna isn't helping the no service thing to the strikers and whatnot, which I'm not saying is Sargent's reason for being bad, but doesn't necessarily help. What does the USA need to do differently here in general for you guys to get a win against Japan? Be good?
Play together. I don't know. It's just there's nothing really going on when you watch them play. It's kind of like lack of ideas going forward. Like I guess chemistry really. They're kind of just all doing their own thing, and then it's not clicking on the field. They're able to string a few passes together, and as soon as they reach the final third, they don't really know what to do. And meanwhile, Japan's one of those teams where they know exactly what they're doing. You can tell as soon as you watch them play what their game plan is. Straight up within the first 5 minutes of the game, you can tell. United States, it takes them probably 35 minutes for you to figure out what the hell they're doing, and then that they'll have one chance. They'll have probably 10 minutes of good football, and then it'll disappear, and you'll never see it for the rest of the game. So they just gotta just turn on that switch for at least a half, just to give fans something.
Yeah. Is there a reason Tillman isn't in the squad?
He was hurt going into Leverkusen season, and also I don't know if Poch had explicitly said this, but with other players, particularly Johnny Cardoso is what he used. He didn't call up some of these players who just had a big move over the summer to give them time to acclimate to the squad. My opinion, very stupid decision, very stupid excuse. But I'm sure that played a role in Tillman not being here as well.
There's no one at the club right now, bro. They're all by themselves training.
What's the point? What's the point? I mean,
they don't even have a manager, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because Ten Hag's gone. That's
Ten
right.
Hag's gone, bro. So
if you had a player like Tillman in that Luna role right now, that would be excellent.
We need U.S. chemistry. We need them to start getting the understanding each other and playing well together. You need Cardoso. I still give him time to come good for the U.S. He's still young, so I don't want to judge too soon on that. Tillman, we saw he had a great tournament. I want him back. I'm pretty sure he played at least a game or two for Leverkusen. He did well. I mean, he needs to be there. We need to get these players and put them in the squad and give them time to work with everyone in the U.S. squad, not the club squad. And there's no one there. Like I just said, literally, I saw some training videos from other clubs. There's two players and then the youth team. They're not playing with the youth team. So I think it's just ridiculous. I think you got to get the confidence going ahead of this big tournament coming up, and this is not it.
You're 9 months away. 9 months away from the biggest tournament that
and
these
international
players are
football
ever
wise,
play in.
That's nothing.
And
That's nothing.
And the excuse constantly is it's not our best squad. It's not our best squad. Now, and there was the excuse like the past 3 years, which is fine. 2 years ago, whatever, cool. Gold Cup, whatever. 2 years ago, the last one, not this past summer, cool. And then now it's just at this point, it's like, then when is the right time to call up all your best players to be able to gel together? Because it's not working. All the other national teams are calling up their best players, even the ones that have already qualified for the World Cup. They're bringing their best players possible. And the United States, for some reason, is consistently finding different ways to not call up their best players, to not have the best team on the pitch. And they're putting up these guys that make no sense, that they shouldn't even be there. They're subpar at best for MLS standards.
Yeah,
MLS standards are great, subpar at best in terms of everywhere else.
It's like you're saying, like they want to experiment with some players, that's fine. But some of these players we've experimented with before. We know the outcome. So why are we bashing our head against a rock trying to see if they come good? They're not. Let's go for some new players and see if we can find something that surprises us. But we've Rodon, Blackman, Berhalter, even to an extent. I know he's still young, but like we know they're not to the level that we're looking for. Why not? Why not just, if we're really trying to experiment, throw some random person in there. You're like, okay, they look fun. Like it's something we haven't tried before, at least, you know.
But even then, like I feel like at this point they should have a solidified lineup and not still be experimenting. Like, Japan,
True.
like, they have a team down.
Is subs. You bring on subs to experiment, not your starting 11s. Definitely, if that starting 11 showed up for that World Cup, bro, they're getting blown out. They're getting grouped. Let's be real here. That starting 11 shows up, they're getting grouped. I don't care who's in their group. They're going to get grouped.
I think to look at it positively, which is really hard to do right now, but for this game in particular versus Japan, right? Okay, hopefully at the October camp, we're not sitting here saying that Poch is still testing players out and whatnot, right? These players aren't getting caught up. Hopefully in October, we have the true best 20 odd players here in this camp, right? But that's next. Right here, unfortunately, it still is a test. What I do want to see is improved performances. Give us a reason for those players, for us to say that you should be here, or we shouldn't be shit talking you as much. In particular, like I said, if Sargent starts, which he could, Sargent, Berhalter, Freeman, even Diego Luna to an extent, Tristan Blackman, even Tim Ream, these players, we need to be able to sit here and be like, okay, wait, that was a good performance. You're actually wearing the shirt well. You maybe deserve a spot here. That's the only real positive I can be taking from this next game. I don't see the USA beating Japan fully, and if they win, I would be willing to bet that it's more down to Japan not playing their game or not playing how good they should be, and maybe the USA is getting lucky and whatnot. I just don't see it right now. I'm going to use that to go into the predictions, the score predictions. Diego, your USA Japan finishes how?
If it's based off of the patterns we've seen, I would love a surprise. But if it's based off the patterns we see, I think a Japan, like a big win, like a 3-0, 3-1 is not out of the cards. I feel like the US rallies though, so I would like to say it's closer than that, maybe a 2-1. But I think my final prediction here would be a 3-1.
Like that, Joaquin?
That's crazy. You can't take my prediction. That's I'm gonna have to go 3-1.
Twin telepathy.
Well. Yeah,
twin telepathy. Andres.
It makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say 3-1, bro. Make it unanimous. Unanimous decision.
Well,
let's
see.
Lock in.
Let's
Come
see.
on now. Just go with it. Peer pressure. Come on.
No, I mean, yeah.
Succumb to peer pressure.
I was going to go with like a 2-0 or 2-1. I'm not sure if the USA are that bad enough where Japan can really get like their prime going again, but 3-1 is not out of the cards by any means. I just don't see much of a reality where the USA wins this game, and even if they do, like I already said, it's not going to be because they were the better team. I just don't see it. I really don't see it, especially because we hopefully will see some rotation amongst this squad going into that game. Hopefully we're not seeing a similar lineup than we did. As a result of that, I mean, like, they're not going to, I don't think they'll mesh well and whatnot. So it's got to be Japan pulling it out in the end. And we're left here with USA losing twice to AFC teams. Granted, two of the best AFC teams, but still 2 losses. Pretty rough. But of course, let us know in the comments down below your score prediction for that game. We will not be live for that one, but we will be live for Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago around the same time. Even then, if you're not watching Jamaica, please come on in and hang out with us and whatnot. Yeah, and then afterwards we are going to be doing reviews and recaps of the window for many different teams, Mexico, Canada, the USA. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, subscribe now, turn notifications on so you get alerted when those come out. That's going to be it from us. My name is Elijah. I was with Diego, Joaquin, and Andres, and hopefully we'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.